go. So here we've got a quotation from Bob as he sits down to celebrate Christmas dinner with his family. Now we've just seen Bob and Tim come from church and see a real generosity of spirit, especially from Tiny Tim. And here we have Bob saying, "Mr. Scrooge," said Bob, "I'll give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast." So why is he toasting Scrooge here? Well, firstly, let's look at some of the language. We've got Mr. Scrooge, an exclamation, a genuine excitement and praise from Bob for his boss, despite obviously the way he's treated with incredibly low salary and being treated pretty disrespectfully when he's at the workplace, we've already seen in Stave 1. Nevertheless, Bob is thankful for what he has been given. We then get "I'll give you." This is a toast to thank him. There's nothing really to thank him for. Now, there's two ways of looking at this really, and some disagreement that I often have with people. One is the idea that Bob is just a really lovely bloke, and even though he gets paid very, very little, he's still thankful to Mr. Scrooge. Another way of looking at it, I think, is that Bob is actually a bit weak. Why is he really thanking Scrooge for what he has been given? We'll see in a minute his wife is less than generous about Scrooge when she responds about him in quite a dismissive and insulting way, and a much more understandable reaction. I don't really understand why Bob reacts like this. We can give him the benefit of the character that he's just a really nice bloke, or we can just say he's a bit naive and weak. It's entirely up to you really, but you can have a discussion around that in your writing and in class and that. We've then got Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast. It's like a formal title, isn't it? It's symbolic for me of the deference. That means that he thinks Scrooge is superior, and Bob himself, he thinks he is inferior to Scrooge. This deference, the founder of the feast. It's like he's given him a title, which again has been emphasised throughout that alliteration. And even that word feast there, this exaggeration, this hyperbole, matches, I think, the Cratchits family's excitement for their dinner, even if it's small and simple, and perhaps Bob's generosity, but I think maybe also a little bit of Bob's naivety. So two little things here. Either we're going to say Bob is a really generous person, or secondly, Bob is just a little bit weak and needs to maybe get a bit more angry about the world. Obviously, if you think about the next one, though, where does he go? Even if he does rail against Scrooge and start asking for more money, the most likely thing he gets sacked and loses everything. So we can understand, even if we do get frustrated with Bob here, why he feels like he's in the situation that he is in. A little bit in the context box there about ovens, which is probably not hugely important to an exam answer on this, but maybe interesting nevertheless. And obviously a little bit of in the quotation box there, the link quotations about how Bob is treated by Scrooge and how Mrs. Cratchit is slightly less generous to Scrooge, as I've already mentioned.